FBI say, look, here's this guy, he's a criminology student, all this.
So I've not had a chance to listen to this young lady's entire video. Just the most of the beginning of it is things that I hear an extreme amount of people talking about, which is, did Brian Kohlberger work for the FBI? Did they send him there to uncover all this stuff? Because there was all this, essay stuff going on involving the police department there on WSU campus. And no, the answer is no, 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 no. Brian wasn't working for anybody else. In fact, he was barely hanging on by a thread. I'm trying so hard to stay focused on the fact that whenever I started following the case, which was immediately day one, a lot of us who followed in the beginning, once Brian, which we knew he was going to end up pleading because we knew that he did it based on all of the stuff that we had investigated ourselves those first year and a half, 2 years. And so when he pled, a lot of us just kind of tapered off. My mom passed away the very next month, and that changed me a lot. But I can't keep seeing all these videos talking about the stuff that has already been debunked and watch as you're getting thousands and thousands and thousands of views and comments and not warn you that the majority of the people who are commenting are likely, maybe 50 people with like 10, 20 accounts apiece. We uncovered a lot of them in the beginning, and so don't assume that because you're getting all these views and all these comments that it must mean that you're on the right track. You must know that Brian did this and that he did it by himself and that he wasn't working for any kind of agency when he came there. In fact, he, didn't even upload his survey till after he graduated. It was actually a part of, the end of the year stuff that he had to do, but he ran out of time, didn't use the data, ran script theory. But he still uploaded that survey after he graduated, and not just to one place, ex-cons, but a bunch. I'll have to find my list. I think it's 9. He got a lot of responses, and we know about a lot of them. Steve Concalves had come out and said, shared a lot about the few that had contacted him. We also know that his ongoing problems at WSU were much worse than originally thought. And personally, I worked very hard in the very, very beginning to break the information that Brian Kohlberger had been terminated, and revealed the majority of his termination letter, but didn't have the very end of it. And that happened at the end of January and the beginning of February of 2023. I've been deplatformed a number of times and kind of quit and came back a number of times, but you can find that video all over the place in Feral over on YouTube. Just look up The Daggum Truth, and that's spelled THEDAGUMTRUTH. And then choose videos and choose oldest. And it's a video that's 40 minutes long. And it is all over the place. I haven't ever been able to edit it because I use my phone. But if you look in the description, you can see a lot of things that we've come up with over the years. I'm also over on X. I stay suppressed a lot. Truth Crime Fan, and that's TRUTH Crime Fan, Truth Crime Fan, and The Daggum Truth over there. But the point is a lot of the things that we stay suppressed on are things that you should know about. Like, for example, we've known since 2023 that Jack in the Box closed down for an hour in the middle of the morning. And so if you don't place your order by 2:45, you will not get it until a full hour later. Now, people say, well, she placed her order at 2:15. It's still that once you place that order, they're still going to close down for an hour. So I would assume that played a role in it taking so long for it to get there. I don't have a lot of answers about what I think based on the evidence that came out saying that there was an account for Ethan and not Xana. Besides the fact that from the beginning, I felt like Brian used something called blue snarfing, blue tagging, blue impersonation, where he potentially either knew about the order being placed because he was able to watch their phones, or that he actually placed the order himself and did so from his own location, because you can do that without even being close once you have a way to maneuver around in their phone. Turn your Bluetooth off when you're not using it. There's a lot of things. November 8th, that is something that everybody should be looking at. Read the WSU lawsuit brought on by the Idaho4 families. We never could find that point of spark. We knew that 9/23, he had his first altercation with Professor Snyder. The next day was when he paid his ticket from August 21st late. 10/3 is when he had a meeting with faculty to discuss professionalism and that altercation that he had on 9/23. Keep in mind that school didn't start till 8/21, 8/22. So a month and a day in, he's already having altercations. He's not a good person. He caused problems the whole time he was there. Read that new lawsuit. So 10/3, he had that meeting about professionalism. This is also the same time frame that Pam and Jim Colbert, longtime Moscow residents. Pam retired from WSU Pullman, the vet med side, and she and her husband found a de-skulled rabbit by the mailbox, leaned near the mailbox with the top sliced off like you would like a deer that you were going to mount the thingies, horns, things. My brain is all over the place. I'm trying to stay focused, but it's hard. 10/21 is Brian got an email from his professor that stated that he had failed thus far in the semester as a TA. And that same day, Pam and Jim Colbert, the couple from prior, let their dog Buddy out to use the bathroom in the middle of the night, and Buddy wouldn't come back, so Jim left the door open. And the next morning, they went looking for him, and the neighbor found Buddy, and he had been skinned and his pelt taken. His collar had been unbuckled and it was a few feet from him. He'd been cut around his arms and his feet, his little head and paws. The fur was left. They told him that a human definitely did that. And then, sorry, I smile sometimes when I'm uncomfortable. So now we know that happened. They said that it wasn't connected to the Idaho4 killing, but they said that supposedly before they even had Brian's name. So I don't know. 10/3, they brought Brian in. 10/2, and put him on an improvement plan. It only shows us 4 points in the documents, and those mention like weekly goals with your professor. We don't know what that looked like. I don't have access to that. I don't know if anybody else does either. There'll probably be more available through the lawsuit. November 8th, they held, give me just a moment. They held a harassment training to which Koberger was very aware he was the reason for, and he was kicked back with his hands behind his head staring at the ceiling during that. Part of their own threat assessment model says that they are not to publicly shame or push somebody through a pressure situation if they're already, escalating up through behavior issues. And so November 8th would have been exactly that. Just a few days later, he would end up at 1122 King, to which he has pled guilty to, and he would go on to end the lives of Kaylee, Maddie, Ethan, and Xana, and permanently impact the lives of Dylan and Bethany, to which we still have thousands of people who speak ill of on a daily basis and get paid to do it. I have a million more thoughts rolling through my head, but I'll be back later. I'm just going to post this as is. And I just encourage you guys to catch up. Read the lawsuit. Go back and look at the stuff that was released early on and honor these families, please.